All right, this is it's all a little bit different. I want to change. Actually, this looks really nice. But maybe change the color a little, it says. I just want to see what that does. Oh wow. Come on. You can't help but really like colors. Just in general. I mean, come on. It's like super nice colors. Yeah, I'm trying to increase the contrast, but it does come with a cost. So I'm just gonna leave it as it is and accept it for what it is, but only because the hat is still yellow. And that I find somewhat important. Can even get my blue eyes to show if I want it. Anyway, not really that important. What is important is that I'm still working on an image. Let's see. Yeah. I'm just gonna do this. I know I've said I don't want to do this anymore. But I just have the feeling it's something that comes with the time. Like the time at the moment seems to be in need for people that show that art is more than just pressing a button. Like, art is something you either are devoted to or you're not. So you're either devoted to art or you're not devoted to it. Yeah, that's how I see it, right? Either you are doing art or you are not doing it. And there's something about the art of living, which means, right, there's this saying, I think I picked that up from Ramdas. Yeah, come on. And it says, somebody who knows how to serve tea right can do anything. Somebody who can serve a cup of tea right, I believe it is, can do anything. Now, what does it mean to serve a cup of tea right? Well, what it means to me is that when the cup is being served, that it is being served with such beauty that nobody who sees how the cup is being served would have any room to doubt that the cup was being served with love, right? That's how I feel like. So you do something, you do it with elegance, yeah? Like a leopard moves with elegance. A leopard even kills with elegance. And he has a certain method, right? So lions kill in a different way than leopards. Because lions are more like pack hunters, right? That's how we call them. And leopards are more like single. So in a way, one could say that, like, raise the question whether or not a leopard is actually stronger than a lion? It's a valid question, but well, nature in a way is about survival and making the most of what you have available. And that to me means to look at what you have and to look at what kind of people surround you, and then making a choice according to that specific situation. That's how I feel like. And I realized I'm more like a leopard. Not because I really choose that, but because nobody wants to be in my pack, right? I mean, you know, I tried raising a pack, but all the people that tried to be in my pack were just annoying me. So I'm still looking for my pack. I'm still looking for a woman. I'm still looking for how my life is going to take shape. Now, I've just been informed that I'm going to move somewhere else. All right? Makes me a little bit nervous, because what does that mean? It means that for some time I have to stop streaming and stop creating content and worry about getting my things to the new place. Now, I also decided very consciously on how I want this to go. And how I want this to go is that I'm going to carry everything just on foot. Because I don't have anything. I don't have a car. I don't really have, like, I don't really see the point of a bus. So all I can do is just take the things that I have and then one by one carry them. I don't know, it's like half an hour walking distance, and then carry it there. And that is a challenge, of course, but it will also train me and give me an experience of what I can do as a free man. Because it wasn't, in that sense, my idea to live somewhere else now. But yeah, it has been made clear to me that that is what is going to happen. Now, I'm not going to pay for my apartment, or it's not really mine, but a place that somebody gives me so that I can live there. Yeah. So I'm not paying that, but maybe I am, because I'm working spiritually, right? So, and in some kind of way, life will provide when you simply are focused on doing your work. And maybe I am, I don't know. There are some things I still have to figure out, because I don't really know what's gonna happen. I don't know how my internet situation will be, right? There are some things which I just don't know. And now I have to figure that out. And that is a challenge in itself, and that's okay. I'm used to dealing with these things on my own. Now I have to deal with this one alone. Now the people I'm living with have offered me that when that is going to happen, or in case it's going to happen at this moment, it's not yet confirmed, that I could have the option of them driving my things there. But I said very deliberately, no thank you. You come to me and you say, we want you to leave. Yeah, you market it like it's to my benefit, while it's actually you who wants me to leave. And I'm willing to accept that. And I'm also happy about it. But when I leave, I have to leave on my own terms. And that means I cannot have people driving me and my things anywhere unless they would give me a car and say, here, have the car. Yes, so what I'm doing is I'm simply taking what is offered and then I'm leaving. Because I cannot allow them to treat me like this is a favor to me, because they're the ones that want me gone, right? And this is very important when you're dealing with truth and the consequences of actions, that sometimes people, they want to give you something because they feel bad for something they have done. And then they're going to make it look like you're the beneficiary, while they just want to get rid of you, right? It's like, the reason why that is important to know the truth behind circumstances, right? That I'm not the one who's asking to be moved to another place. I'm just accepting the fact that other people are willing to pay for an apartment so that I'm out of the way, right? But they're sacrificing basically a son and a brother for that. Because if I'm gone, I'm gone. I'm not coming back. That's just how it is. Like, unless somebody would make me, I'm just gonna be gone. That's just how it is. Now they have to deal with their own problems on their own. Yeah? And maybe it's for the better, who knows. But the fact is that they're the ones that want me out of the way because it's too uncomfortable for them to have me around, right? They cannot deal with me. But they're trying to make it look like that I cannot deal with myself, while I can deal with myself, but they cannot deal with me. And it causes too much pressure for them to have me around, and so they want, yeah, they're willing to rent an apartment and pay money so that I can be somewhere else, and then they can feel good about having this space to themselves, which I also understand. But this is exactly the reason why I cannot let them decide how I'm going to leave here. Right? This is then still my choice, where I say, okay, you can do that, right? You can say, we want to pay you an apartment, and I accept that. But I'm going to have my own terms for how I'm going to do that. And sure, carrying all my stuff on my back is hard work, sure. But what it also is a chance to prove to myself that I can do things on my own, that I am stronger than I thought, and that I, in fact, don't really need anybody. Sure, what I do need, well, but I don't need that, right? That's the point. They want me to leave, and they're willing to pay for that. You know, they want me to leave so badly that they're willing to pay for that by renting me an apartment. That's the truth. That's how it is. They cannot deal with me because they have the feeling I undermine them. And for that, they're willing to pay for me leaving. And so I always make it a habit to look very closely at what is happening in my life and what the circumstances are that bring this about. And the circumstances of this are very clear to me. Although people use words to change the fact of why things are happening, I still know why they are happening. And this gives me the freedom to make a conscious decision about how I want these things to happen, because I know what the consequence is of accepting more help than I want to. Because like I said, I didn't ask for the apartment. That was offered to me because they feel ashamed of how they treated me. And that story is in my content. I cannot repeat everything I say in here. But things have happened and now they want me out of the way because my brother is a coward and he has a problem with me being around because as long as I'm around, he doesn't feel like he's in charge here, right? So this is like a territorial threat display, yeah, to use the term from Avatar. And my father is taking care of it because my brother doesn't have the balls to. That is the truth of the situation. And now I have to take responsibility also for my own needs and say, okay, I will accept it. And I also have to say, I'm grateful for it, which is a hard thing to remember because I am grateful. Why? Because I can't afford it. First of all, I cannot afford to be ungrateful because I don't have money. And I cannot afford my own place, which means I am dependent on other people. And that is something which I find really hard to accept. Like really hard. But I'm accepting it nonetheless. And that is essentially what's going on. Doesn't really tell you anything right now, but it simply tells me what I must do in order to move on. Yeah, and what I must do in order to move on is to let go of my pride and of controlling the way this situation is going to go down, and simply accept what is being offered and acknowledging that my time here is over and that I'm about to retreat now into the distance of whatever wants to happen. And that, of course, is the unknown, right? It's like, it's the unknown. I don't know what is around the corner. I don't know what life has in store for me. Just as I did not know specifically when things would happen or how they would happen. I thought, to be honest, I would start earning money with what I'm doing, and then I would get an apartment with that money. Now, clearly that's not what's supposed to happen. And that's very strange, is it? Not, right? It's like, okay. Life certainly is a little bit different than I thought it would be. And I don't know if I like it. Right? Like, I don't know if I genuinely like the way life is these days. You know, with all this money and stuff. I don't do well with this sort of life. And I mean that. Because it's, to me, this life is way too complicated. I can't deal with it. I literally cannot deal with it. And whether you want to say that in the end, yeah, that's just my problem, but that's just how it is. I cannot deal with this world because this world consists of lies. It consists of lies. And in order to exist in this world, you have to be a liar. If you want to do well in terms of how other people like to say, right? If you're like this, then you're doing well. And I really have a problem with this. Because I like truth, right? I like nature. I like seeing nature in a good state. But nature is a pile of shit. Which is another reason for me to simply carry my stuff on my own. Which, to a degree, right, I don't know how my life is going to be from here on out. I have a certain feeling about how it might be. But I'm not sure if I can actually ever have a car in my life. Maybe it's enough that other people have cars, and maybe there are people that would just give me their car, or you can just borrow one once in a while. Or maybe I should just use no car at all, but I feel like that's impossible. Why do I feel like that's impossible? I feel like that's impossible because we live in a very fast-paced world, right? Like a very fast-paced world. And to get from certain, like, you can't just walk everywhere. It is possible, but in order to compete, you have to somehow play by the rules. And then I can say, as much as I like nature, I also have to acknowledge that there are certain things which I might not like, but it's just like that. It's just like that. And I'm willing to accept it. And that's all there is to it. But it also means I'm not going to step into anybody's car to drive to have a look at the apartment. I'm just going to go there. I'm just going to say, yeah, I'm walking there on foot. I'm not going to step in your car. You can drive there, be lazy. You know, I've done this all my life. People driving for 1 kilometer with their car just because, for whatever reason, makes no sense. Whoo! And then you can say the truth hurts. Yeah? Wow. Anyway. I don't really know. It says move out on your own terms. So you don't let people carry anything for you. You don't let people dictate when you're going to leave. You're going to leave when you feel ready. And you're going to leave day by day, right? That's roughly how I see this happening in my own life. Right? That's simply how I see it. And now I have 1,333 posts on my Instagram account. And that means to me, I can just close it because I just did the last artwork. So I can close that chapter, and whatever happened can now take another shape, right? That's like how I feel about it. That's how I transform my emotions. That's how I transform what's happening to me. Yeah. So I don't generally accept people telling me what to do anymore. That's how it used to be for a large part of my life. Hey. And at one point I simply denied it. Which means I had to also test myself now. Right when somebody comes and says, okay, we want to pay you an apartment. And then you say, okay, am I going to accept it? Because you don't have to. And then you say, all right, you know, if it comes from you, I wouldn't have asked for this, but this is your idea, so I'm going to accept it. And then they come and say, listen, yeah, it's probably better for you. And then I say, don't put this off on me, because you're the one that feels better if I'm somewhere else, because you can't deal with me being around. So don't try to whitewash throwing out someone, because this is still about paying money to get rid of someone because he's too uncomfortable for you. Alright, but I'm gonna accept it anyway, because I do realize that it probably will lift a lot of tension. So when we talk about this, because you have to understand the way I'm living here, you see me a lot of the times in this room. I create my content here, I sing when I sing, I make music sometimes, but I'm also very quiet often. I do talk like everybody else, like my father talks, or the man, yeah. He talks when he's working, so I'm talking when I'm working. But somehow people have the feeling that I'm penetrating into their space, that I'm like keeping space occupied. You have to understand, this is a giant house. It has 3 floors. And I'm occupying 1 room. And they don't often see me. But my presence already is too much for them. Like, I'm not here drumming really loudly all the time. I keep to myself mostly. And they don't like that. Because I don't join. I don't join for Christmas. I don't join for New Year's Eve. I don't join for any of these festivities. Because I don't like the way it's being celebrated. And somehow, people just don't like my presence. And they don't like me observing things, which I understand, because I do see a lot of things, which is maybe the reason why the shaman often lives outside of the village. Because maybe he also likes to be alone. And I cannot say that I'm not grateful, right? I'm grateful that I'm gonna leave. Because apparently I'm quite intense. To me, I am who I am. But apparently to other people, I'm quite intense. And they have a problem because you cannot destroy me. Yeah, like they've tried in many ways, but I'm just resisting being destroyed. Like, life really tried to push me down, like keep me small. Other people threw me on the streets. People shouted at me. I also shouted at people, but then I apologized, right? And other people, they shout at you, and then because they can't apologize, they just want to get rid of you because you're threatening their so-called peace. Yeah, that's just how it is, right? I have to admit that it's a lot to take in at the moment. Like, I feel really nauseous today. This has been building up. I cannot tell you what it is. I did drink that cacao. It didn't really improve how I feel. I don't know what's happening. So I feel a little bit wobbly. Because this is also a new development. I feel like I might be on the verge of crying, which I will not do. Because I'm just gonna keep it together, because crying is like dissolving, and I'm not gonna give them that. Yeah, I'm gonna walk out of here on my own 2 feet. I'm gonna carry the burden of being sent away over and over again. Because that's what's really happening. If I'm the way that I am, everybody just sends me away. Yeah, that's the woman that looked into my eyes and said she saw her husband. She doesn't want anything to do with me, simply for the way that I am. Other people that I try to engage with, yeah, when they call themselves friends, and when I show them a little of what I can do, they just push me away. And they say I should take it a bit more easy. What do you mean? You're like you, slacking off, becoming fat in the stomach, eating meat, and watching porn at the age of 40? That's just like, no, I don't want this. I am the way I am. And I'm showing it. And to some people, that is threatening their self-image. And I'm not sure how I'm supposed to feel about this. Because the self-image a lot of people have created for themselves is so phony. It's like the biggest lie ever. You know, you've got people, I mean, we're just gonna stick with my brother. The car he has two cars. One he bought with a credit, so it belongs to the bank. And the other one he got from his employer. The house he bought with credit from his father, which means the house also belongs to the bank. Which means he's living in a house and has two cars, and none of them are his. They all belong to the bank, and one belongs to the employer or to the company which is leasing it. And now he's walking around this house like it's an extension of himself, right? He comes home in his tight, neat clothes, yeah, like clean-shaven face. And then he steps out of the car and goes into his apartment or into the house that he sold to the bank or that belongs to the bank, but they let him live in it because he's paying rent to the bank. And then he treats everybody like they're beneath him. Everybody. And when I'm sitting there, just with dinner, doing my thing, he thinks, I'm threatening him. Well, too bad. Then you must feel really shit on the inside. And you're just trying to boost that with your little show, with your little gimmicks, like some kind of smartwatch, yeah, and then always changing the bracelets, with going to the hairdresser once a month, with showering, with sitting on sofas, with cars that belong to others, with shoes that are really bad for the feet, and tight clothes, all that kind of gimmick that people use to make themselves feel better. And that's basically summing up the entire Western society and everybody in it. Whether it is people who identify themselves with the phones that they have, the cars, the apartments, the space they live in. Yeah, it's like wasting money on renovating the staircase. It's like money is only being used for selfish reasons. So renting an apartment to ship me off there is a selfish reason, because they want me gone. But they're trying to sell it like it's better for me this way. But I wouldn't have cared. I would have just stayed here and done my work until I would have earned money, and then I would have left. Well, now they're making me leave. And I'm accepting it, maybe to keep the peace or something, right? Or I'm just accepting whatever is happening. It hasn't happened yet, so I cannot really say, right? It's just something that's being offered. And then it's like people giving you the feeling that you should be grateful for that. But to me, it's the same. It's to you that it matters where I am. You'd rather have me somewhere else. Then I'm just accepting. But I don't care. I can be here and do my work. But for you, that seems to be a problem. So, alright. I'm threatening your existence, so you get rid of me. But you can't buy me. You simply cannot buy me. You may pay that apartment, but that also means this comes with a price. You cannot get rid of me and still want to be friends with me. That's how I see it. Because I'm just adjusting to wherever I am. Like, life won't be that different. But it's also hard to imagine right now, right? It's like very hard to imagine how it's gonna be. Because first of all, it's not there yet. Second of all, the first thing I'm thinking about is how I can have sex in the fastest way. Like, that's an opportunity that clearly arises when you have an apartment. But then at the same time, I have the feeling maybe I shouldn't, because I'm not paying the apartment, right? But at the same time, I mean, I'm still in this position where I say, I literally got nothing to lose. I've got nothing to lose. I don't care about money. You know, money in terms of for my own wealth. I would care, you know, about money so that I can do other things with it, to just continue with my mission to raise awareness. And that has sunk in so deeply into me that it's just a part of me now. Of course, it's always easy to say that beforehand, but I know by now where my priorities lie. You know, I rather spend 60 euros on ceremonial cacao, which helps me to open my heart and to continue with my mission, than to spend it on some physical, I don't know what, right? So what I really want to do at this moment is to simply stop with this recording, because I have a feeling I've already done enough. I don't know. But right now it's just like everything is a little bit much. There are emotions that I want to feel, and when I sit here talking, I'm not sure if I can feel them. But at the same time, you could say I'm opening up because I have nobody to really talk about this, so I have to talk to this about with myself. Things are happening, nobody understands what I'm going through or what I'm doing. All they are concerned with is themselves. So the only thing that I concern myself with is myself. I do realize why they do what they do, and I'm making sure that they get the message of why they're doing it, because if they think they're doing it to help me, then they're kind of mistaken. They help themselves, but they would like to see it as we're helping you. But that's not the case. You help yourselves because you're ashamed and now you want to get rid of me. And you can be lucky that I'm accepting, because otherwise, yeah, we probably would have a problem, which is already there, but nobody wants to deal with it. So I'm just accepting. It's like a way to make it up, right? I'm accepting a peace offer, but I'm also accepting that I'm going to be on my own. And that, in a way, is a challenge, but it's also so liberating, because that's what I've wanted for so long. I just wanted to be on my own. But more in the sense of on my own, that nobody's watching me when I leave, or nobody can ask me why I left or where I went. Because that's what was basically happening living here with this woman, who, whenever I left, constantly asked me, where did you go? Did you leave? It is so annoying. So that is, of course, an opportunity for me. And so all I can do is I can say I will leave quietly, and I will, bit by bit, bring my things to this other place, and then I will clean it and make it my own. Because I don't want to be just carried off or carted off like some something that just should go, right? I'm going to stretch this out a little, not too long, but I'm going to take my time, right? I'm going to carry the things with my own strength, and that takes a little bit more time than to just take a car. Because I'm not just something you can just pack in one car and then get rid of. And that, of course, is also a challenge, to carry all of this stuff. And then you're asking yourself, do I really want to do this? Isn't that a bit stupid? Like, shouldn't I just accept the help of having the stuff driven there with a car? Yeah, I don't know, right? But this is also about fighting. And sometimes I'm not sure if it's just being stupid. But I don't think so. Because I have a lot of energy. And I want to do this right. And if I see myself, or I do see myself as a man, so it's already a stretch to accept another man paying for your apartment. But when you consider that all money belongs to God, yeah. But I still want to leave on my own terms, and that's important. And I've said enough. Selfish selfie, make up your own mind.